conversation.
Yeah.
You come up with rice cans, sour cans, granny, and my father-in-law worked on it, and damn years. He knew something down the kid was getting it to him. That father-in-law took him on a tour, saying that's the real one. The father-in-law got done, put it on 20, 30 people. Kid calls him, hey, give me one.
That's fine.
But I wouldn't want to be on West Grand now. I showed Ted's house. Right of lines, they were melting.
Good stuff. It's so hard to get sugar.
Oh, wow.
So I have to pay already. Crackers.
That's fine. No, I know, it's just fine and
Call a meeting, Stuart Municipal Utilities meeting to order, council chambers on Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, 5:30 p.m. Call to order and roll call. Jones. Belden.
Here.
Sherman.
Here.
Crawford. Amy here. Okay, agenda approval and consent of agenda.
Motion? No. Second.
Okay, Jones. Belden.
Yep.
Sherman.
Yes.
Crawford. Amy. Yes. Revolving loan fund application 123 Northwest Second LLC.
Bruce is not here tonight. We had a meeting with him. He provided a letter with his recommendation. Brian's there.
Yeah. Definitely positive thing.
So if the vote is okay, we need a motion to proceed with the application.
Second.
Moved by Dan, seconded by Brian.
Okay. Jones. Belden.
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Crawford. Amy, yes. Power purchase agreement review, Allers and Cooney.
It's not gonna be easy.
Okay. Electric utility franchise fee.
Can we go back to 6? How did he leave that? No, I'm just asking.
Hey, did you have the email?
Yeah,
But just,
I asked him if he had anything to present and he said, that the agreement lays it all out. So I took that to mean no.
but there's not really any, we don't need him to do anything with that, correct? Because that was kind of we had this call to try to ask about solar. I don't know if we want to talk about this a lot or not, but this was the guy we were trying to go to as a follow-up to see if there's any alternative energy sources, whether it was wind or solar. And our agreement basically caps that clearly, and he thinks that we're at that or close to that. Sarah provided some numbers that looks like we're at the 10% threshold. So on the electric side, and you guys jump in if I'm
Yes, yes.
saying anything inconsistent, but so on the electric side, it doesn't look like there's any lift for anything to be considered, like 10 turbines or, a 4-acre solar field, so solar panel field. So
Yes.
anyway, so I don't know if you guys have anything else to add to that, but
Not really, we're still working on it, as we know, we're currently just gathering all the information we need.
I mean, there won't be any costs with working with this guy on that issue, right? That's a dead issue with him,
Yeah.
right? Because, there's nothing left to.
Is Chip taking over or what?
But, I guess I was looking at it from the from the wind turbine and solar panel field options for
Yeah.
forest to study, and you were on that call, right?
Yes.
So based on that call, it's a dead issue, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing to discuss.
Yeah.
I guess the way I took that.
Yeah.
The water we'll talk about next, the franchise fee on the
That's
electric.
what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, yeah, but that's not in that engagement agreement, the first one. he needs to add it. That's probably what you guys were expecting, or?
What he said was that it's an issue that needs to be presented to the city to
Okay.
see if they're interested in
That's
pursuing it.
Okay,
And they have to sign their own letter of engagement with representation, a
Yeah.
different representative within the.
yeah, and
That's
that's
the next item.
a separate issue, yep, okay.
What you said?
The electric utility franchise fee.
That's kinda, go ahead.
Sorry, there was an article, on KCCI West Des Moines converted their local option sales tax to a franchise fee. Basically what that means is that penny cent, or that 1 cent sales tax being paid is distributed to the state and other entities. And so the franchise fee allows it to stay local. So, if you collect $10,000, you share it today, tomorrow you keep the $10,000. Well, the city is an entity that's getting a portion of that today. So you can raise that from a 1% to a 5% franchise fee. And we did that on the city side for natural gas.
Yes.
And that was a positive thing, correct?
Yes.
That's been a,
Very possible.
yeah, so it's not something that is worthwhile to do on a 1% basis. To me, if you're gonna go after it, you do a 5% and call it a day. So you don't have to discuss the stuff twice, but you basically do a franchise fee in lieu of raising utility rates. When was the last time utility rates were raised?
It's been a couple of years.
Okay, so, and then, I'm not saying we should go jump off the bridge and do this, but I definitely, to me, it's worth gathering more information with this Tim Whipple attorney and Chip. And then again, like, it has to go through the city as well. The city has to be okay being the conduit to basically collect that money and give it back to us, correct?
Yes.
So they can do that, but it needs to be presented and researched by Tim Whipple and Chip, I guess, to me, and they would be the facilitators of that.
Yes. Chip is doing a hell of a good job now trying to get most of the information. It's hard calculation.
Gotcha.
No, I kinda,
I don't know what goes into it at all, like,
yeah, it's beyond me and him too.
Okay.
You know, so it has to be, you let him have his time to get it.
Okay.
Because we're talking about calculation done by the state, not us.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we're gonna get it. I will have him to get it ready. So we just have to wait for Chip to kind of come up with the numbers to make sense. So if we go present it to the city, it will make sense to the city.
Yeah.
To,
so to me, that was the only thing out of that call that had legs. And Forrest, you're on this too, you jump in, but for us, how we do business today, the only thing out of that call that provided a little bit of opportunity was that franchise fee. And again, that was the West Des Moines thing that they did to, and again, everybody in town's already paying 1%. That's up to the board to decide that, some sort of formal agreement. So anyway, I'd be interested in learning more about that, but the wind turbines and the solar panels are dead.
yes.
So
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts, but if we can, I'd be okay making a motion to have, Forrest, is this something you want in on too? I'm joking. That Chip and Tim, we refer this to them for further guidance. I guess, is that doable with everybody? Dan, Kim, I mean, you were on that too, Kim. I mean,
Yes.
Did you think it was
Yeah.
worthwhile or?
Yeah.
Okay, moved by Bolden,
I'll second.
seconded by Kim.
Jones? Belden?
Yeah.
Sherman?
Yes.
Crawford? Avy, yes. Okay, financial advisor Chip Schultz of Northland Securities, water rate review.
He's not gonna be here today, he's at another meeting.
Water System Improvements Project, Snyder and Associates, Elevated Water Storage Tank Project Review and approve final pay, application 13 Caldwell Tanks, $5,000.
What's your recommendation, Chris?
I don't have one, Ash. I would have to defer that to Dwayne.
It's kinda, I don't know, you hit the material in the packet. And it's, I don't know, I don't know if we should approve it or not.
This is the contractor though, it's not.
I know,
Yeah,
I know, I still kinda,
I thought
You have to.
Is he
Well, I
done?
thought Dwayne made it pretty clear I don't mean to speak out of turn, but I thought he made it pretty clear that our issue was not with Caldwell, we
Yes.
had to close this out, but I shouldn't speak for him.
No, I think you're 100%.
Some information say we're finalizing the project.
In this pay estimate,
See it here. I was looking at something there. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just an electric panel. They had put in the door.
This looks-
yeah,
It's,
it is, I'm not comfortable with it. See this?
I'm not comfortable with those tables.
I don't know, I'm just speaking on my own term, but we need to share. Yeah, go ahead.
Ash, I would guess that this would be decided by, if Caldwell Tanks is part of your claim against Snyder and Associates. I mean, are they a party to that action or not?
And
And
I don't
and
know,
maybe, and if you can't answer that, I understand, but that's one thing. If they're not a party to the action, then I don't know why you couldn't go ahead and pay this, but.
if the 5,000, I'm not against it, when the actions at the easy part, I mean, this is what, go ahead and read.
Was that,
Because it's saying it's complete.
Yeah.
it's, here it's
No,
saying it's
no.
complete, here it's still considering
Read number 2, is the owner satisfied with the project progress? Yes. It's a contract, so it's kind of, I don't know.
But where it says this,
Have any complaints been received, this is why you're still considering alternative for the tower height situation? Just share with me, I just
Okay,
expect.
at the last meeting, you approved the final completion certificate for the water mains project. I can look through older minutes for the final completion for the water tower.
Okay?
But I mean, this is not the final completion certificate, this is the payment application.
No, the payment, I'm okay with it, but
You
I'm
know,
not,
like the verbiage that's tied to it.
yeah, I'm not comfortable with that USDA statement. But if everybody's good, I'm good. I'll
Those
share
bond-
my side.
Those low interest bonds closed,
But that's
Yes.
and let's just table it.
okay. Table it.
Well, I'm just saying, if you want clarification for what the USDA and the implications of that, then.
yeah,
The payment is, I'm okay with the payment, it's no big deal. I'm just not okay with this.
so can we have Dwayne look at this?
But yeah. Okay, so we can approve the 5,000, that's okay.
And then we give you, why don't we get, approve it subject to, and give you the discretion to,
Yeah.
modify the,
These,
you know, the documentation with it?
yeah, these we're have concern. Well, it's good idea from Kim that we pass it by doing, see if he's good with it or not. If he's good, we move on. Because I'm just not comfortable with, everything's fine and dandy.
Right.
in
Oh, I
here,
hear you.
And we didn't like this. I understand, alternative for the tower height. It would be a good idea to pass it by the city, the utility attorney.
Okay.
If he's good with it, make the motion subject to the way in approving.
Yeah, that's fine.
You need a motion.
Um,
Second. Moved by Beckton, second by Dan, to approve the estimate, and subject to, approval of utility attorney to that statement from USD.
Jones? Mellon?
Yes.
Sherman?
yes.
Crawford? Amy, yes. Okay. Number 10, Veenstra and Kim Force, Water Facility Study, Water Tower Height Adjustment Project.
So there's two agreements before you this evening, as requested at the last board meeting. The first one is to look at the water supply, water treatment. We're not looking at towers, we're not looking at water distribution, we're just looking at, what do we have for alternatives to Xenia out there to provide water and treatment, or make improvements to what we have already, or is it brand new, and where would we get that water? Is that some kind of impoundment somewhere? Is that going back out to the wells by Redfield? Is that trying to find some other well source? I think over the last, Ben's been here a long time, I'm sure Ben and Pat could provide a lot of background information on what's been looked at to make sure we don't duplicate past efforts, but sometimes looking at things from a different perspective and a different viewpoint can help look at something that we think won't work, but if we look at it differently, maybe it will. So that's the goal of this, and I think it's been a while since the utilities looked at this, so that's what this would do. So, kind of laid out everything in that scope of study. I think everybody hopefully got a copy of this in your packets, but there's, that scope of study, there's all the way through letter N. So there's quite a bit we're looking at there.
Let's say this goes on for a period of time and we decide we want to conclude the study that. we can do that. So there's no long-term obligation here or whatever, this is as we go type thing, okay?
Yes. Yeah, if you say, we want to stop it, we've looked at things and we're done, then let's just whatever far we got.
Would you plan on, I guess, monthly providing us some sort of updates on your analytics and research, what you?
Maybe a little report,
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah, that
yes.
would be great.
Another motion moved by Brian,
Second.
second by Ken.
Jones, Belden.
Yeah.
Sherman,
Yes.
Crawford, Amy, yes.
Thanks, sir.
Got one more?
So the second agreement would be to put together design and construction services to lower the water tower. We make sure we confirm the survey elevations before we did anything. We've had some input on what that is, but we want to do our own confirmation on that. And then they would be putting together construction plans and specifications and bid documents, going out for bids, public bids to lower the water tower, and so they would match, the high water levels would match, and then we'd provide construction services as well, including we have a person on staff that is certified in coatings, and so he would check the coatings to make sure that they're, the colors match, the thicknesses match, the application is right. That's part of that agreement as well. And we wouldn't start until we to do so.
Should we wait until we get this whole thing settled down?
Well, we might as well approve the agreement, and he said that we'll tell him when to start.
Okay,
And this is.
you good with that?
That's what I
Yeah,
said.
you're aware of what's going on, I
Yeah,
don't wanna
yes.
talk about it because of that.
Yes, do you say,
Okay.
are you,
Okay, most like that.
second, are you able to stay right at 13?
Jones,
Close, okay.
Belden,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Crawford, Amy, yes.
Thanks, sir.
Yes.
And we won't do anything until we're told.
Okay, thank you.
City administrator report.
Okay, which we work on here. The first page of the financial statement, we closed the fiscal year end of June. So at page 1, we are sitting at 6.7 million in the bank. Page 2 is shows the difference between the beginning of balance from July 1st to the end of June, which in the end of fiscal year, show a loss of 1.4 million, but that's with the project. Without a project, you have a loss number of 792. So we end the year in a positive number, but it looks negative. That's the difference. Page 3, we stayed within our budget. We amended the budget to be 12 million. We amended to 12.4, we spent 12.0. So we were within the budget, and that's good sign too. Page 4 shows that just the month of June, from the beginning to the end of the month, shows a loss of 15,900. That's with the project. If I take the project out, shows a plus number of 45,000. So that's the end of the fiscal year, and we ended positive on all the aspects. We go to next report is a breakdown of the budget. As I said, we stayed within our budget, and that's a good sign. Next report is the delinquent account. We have 4 people shown in page 1. There's 2 with a check mark on the right hand. Page 2 has another 2 with a check mark on the right hand. That take us to the end of the report. On page 3, next report is the delinquent account payable for, no change, and that take us all the way to page 4. Next report is payment agreement. We added 5 people with a check mark on the right. Next report is payable for payment agreement. We had 3 people will be shown on page 2. And another 2 shown on page 3. And go all the way to the end of the report on page 7. Next report is budget billing, no change. This is a bankrupt, no change. And the last report for your information is the offset of that should take care of that.
Public forum.
Mayor Cook, I just got one thing. My brother requested that the utilities would check out the gazebo at the park and see if the lighting is working. He said, of course, he can't see very good, see if there's LED lights, if they can be turned on during events up underneath to showcase the performers. I don't know if the lights work, if they just weren't turned on. You check that out for me.
Yeah, we can take a look.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, number 13. Oh, John?
Just a couple things. First of all, I hope that all of you opened up your last billing, and in it was a little couple blue sheets of paper that showed the report on our water system here in Stuart. And thanks to Ben and Trevor, it looks pretty darn good. And I guess my point is, I know you're discussing other options for sources of water. And my only comment is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, you're having water rate increases, but that's not entirely Xenia's fault. There's a lot of things going on in this state, and it's all gonna increase the rates for water, all of it. The other thing I'd like to visit about is, at my last meeting in December, we talked about limiting the amount of dollars that the utility board could take from TIF. Now, in the past, TIF has been good to the utility board over the years. This building is an example of cooperation between the city and the utility board with the use of TIF. And there's a lot of examples for that. But TIF is a tax funding policy. It's not a revenue policy. It's not designed to be used entirely by the utility board. And my suggestion at the time was, and it was a bad time to do it, there were 2 board members gone, and Craig was gonna be going to the council, so we decided not to do anything. But next month, and you can't do anything now because you're in public forum, but I would like to see an item on the agenda that the board would consider a limitation of 100,000 a year. That would be the limit that you could spend on TIF projects for the utility. So there's a lot of things, that are good about TIF, but there's a lot of things that could end up requiring the utility board to pay an exorbitant fee every year to the city for our use of their TIF. So I'm gonna ask you to look at that next month, and hopefully we can get that item put on the agenda and you can deal with that. But I think the 100,000 limit is more than adequate. I think the most Ash we've spent is probably 60,000, isn't it?
Yes.
So 100,000 would leave a lot of space for you to use the things that could benefit the utility board by the use of TIF. So that's all I got.
Thanks.
Thank you. Just skip 13.
13 we're not doing anything.
Okay.
So, John.
Sure.